Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Philosophy of Information, where we will try to analyze events of our time with a philosophical perspective. My name is Andre Meloche, and I have the pleasure to welcome David Gardner, who will be again co host this week for the third part of this series on the history of Buddhism, the future of mankind. So, David, thank you. How are you today?
Doing great, man. Looking forward to this third part and the finale. Yep.
Yes, Buddhism and the future of mankind, and we have a small intro slide, Buddhist perspective, and David, you were talking also about eschatology.
Mhm.
Maybe the first part we were talking about the origin of Buddhism. The second part we touched the origin, school of thoughts, some vocabulary concepts. The second part was dedicated to Buddhism in the West, what happened in the Western world, how the movement evolved here. The third part, future of mankind, and the word eschatology. You were talking about the end of time. What's the purpose about? How does Buddhism see the end of time? Is there an end? Is there a beginning?
Mhm. Um, well, potential futures. Hey, this was sort of your first question, wasn't it? This first slide. I could actually skip to the next one. Here it is. Look,
Yes, that was.
potential futures, transhumanism, or
Or that was, I left it like this intentionally because I was, you did a lot of research on transhumanism, artificial intelligence, and that's the Western perspective. What would be the potential future from the Buddhist point of view?
yeah, Buddhist point of view. Well, I think I think I should share my screen real quick, actually, and we'll go quickly over here. This will help us along. It's a little complex. Here we go. This tab right here. There's two things I guess we could just get straight to as regards to Buddhist eschatology. Maitreya is prophesized to be the very next Buddha in about say 5,000 years after the death of the previous Buddha who predicted this. So a lot of people believe that. Here's some statues. Uh, Maybe true. Who knows, right? A lot of religions make predictions about the future. Here's a Greco-Buddhist statue of Maitreya, 3rd century. Pretty interesting. Here again from last time, the East meets West, 11th century, found in India. Here's another version of this Maitreya. So who's Maitreya? Maybe we could learn a little more about it. I will exit these photos. Pretty interesting to look at the art, though. Well, maybe I've said it all. Hey, sources, sutras. Yeah, sure. I got another tab over here called the
When you say 5,000 years,
Buddhist eschatology. Yeah.
when you say 5,000 year after the death of the previous Buddhist, can we uh, can we how can I say this? Can we predict it, or can we have a timeline compared to what we have now, 2025? Are we on the verge of seeing this, or it will take another
According to
100, 1,000
right.
years?
Well, according to the timeline, it'd be another 2,500 years before this Maitreya would show up. And it also says somewhere in there, and also in the next thing we're going to look at here, the Wikipedia for Buddhist eschatology, which has
Mm.
great details. That the decline of wisdom in the world we're there, and we are in a dark age as well, because the ancient Indians believed that cosmic time was like a golden age, then a dark age, or light, dark, light, dark. And I've heard it said like the eye of Brahma opens and closes over time. That's like whatever,
Mhm.
some cosmic force of good and evil, and that we could be on a great decline. And if one were to just look around or turn on the news right now, maybe they would be inclined to agree with that. So there's a little one fun aspect. I could add, there's more here. There's actually something very interesting in here. If you want to make a comment or question before I look at
Well,
that.
because the word eschatology means the end of time. How do we interpret that in a way? I can just jump in the event with the meeting with Trump and Putin in Alaska, trying to prevent what we call a third world war or nuclear war, which would eradicate mankind. Eschatology, in a more spiritual way or Buddhist way, would be more, like you said, a decline, dark age. And
Yeah.
if we are in dark age, can we expect enlightenment? Maybe not like we had in the 18th century, but something that would be more spiritual.
Oh yeah, there's a spiritual materialism that's supposed to take over, which is just bad news for everybody, really.
So when you talk about Buddhist eschatology, it's on a more longer period. The timeline is much more long than what we're used to have
Yeah.
here in the Western world.
Yeah, and we've discussed already in this series about the beginningless time concept, the primordial, non-beginning, non-ending nature of phenomena, you could say, right? Very Buddhist way to talk about reality there. I would like to read.
This
Can
is
I read this? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, this is from the Pali Canon, as we've discussed previously. The actual words of the actual Buddha, according to the Theravada Buddhists, of course. But this is the oldest written Buddhist shit right here. And this is the Buddha talking about Maitreya. So listen to this. He's talking to his congregation. At that period, brethren, there will arise in the world an exalted one named Maitreya, fully awakened, abounding in wisdom and goodness, happy, with knowledge of the worlds, unsurpassed as a guide to mortals willing to be led, a teacher for gods and men, an exalted one, a Buddha, even as I am now. He, by himself, will thoroughly know and see, as it were, face to face, this universe, with its worlds of the spirits, its Brahmas and its Maras, that's gods and devils, and its world of recluses and Brahmins, of princes and peoples, even as I now by myself thoroughly know and see them. Hello, this guy's got a big attitude, doesn't he? That's the Buddha saying this shit. What do you think of that?
Well, what surprises me is, first of all, fully awakened, and then he arrives not on knowledge of the world. Because I have a question. You can leave the text so I can just see.
You want to see that?
Yes, he's saying unsurpassed as a guide to mortals willing to be led. So it means that we have mortal like you and me, and there would be a teacher for gods and man.
Yeah, that's weird.
My question would be, there's a difference between a mortal, a man, and a god. A god would be immortal, I suppose. Mortal is somebody who will die eventually. So, and you see, he continues with that, an exalted one. Where do we stand? For example, you and me today as a Westerner, where do we stand in this eschatology? Are we just mortal? Are we spirit? Do we have any soul? Those are very philosophical questions, but it touches the idea of eschatology.
I've been listening to lectures by this university professor from Stanford University, and they're from 1993, this particular lecture about Heidegger. In regards to his concerns with technology, 100 years ago, and his talking about this, what you bring up here, is there a God or not? There's a problem of the self and God, or self and just self, right? Or self and world. And we've got to sort that out individually, but in some sense, the whole world has to agree on some really core reality here, or technology, transhumanism, we're all ripe for the picking, because our little digital ego, right, is so magnetized to the screen. I don't know, like a moth. I don't want to open that up yet, because we're getting there, aren't we? What would you say about Heidegger and your thought there, and where we stand today, right?
Well, the being and the time. I don't know if the title is good in English. In French, it was être et temps, being in time. And being in time, you are being because there is time. And if there's no time, no beginning, no end, uh, how can you perceive reality if you don't see something arrive before and something arriving after? Because you have to be able to make the difference. Rationality is based on that. So the idea of Heidegger is existence. And you need consciousness to feel existence. Do animals feel existence? Yes, they do. But are they aware like we are that they are not necessarily, because they don't have the same structure of language. We are able to play with time in our mind, with our imagination. We can imagine the future. We can rewrite the past because we go through our memory. It's funny because sometimes I meet people, or I had an interview with Michael Jones this week, and he was talking about his life, his 50, 60 years of writing. And he was going back in 1965, 1970, and suddenly some memories came back to me 50 years ago, and I started perceiving them very differently because I'm a different man. So the concept of time is very important for the being. So do you think that in Buddhism the concept of time has the same signification?
Time. Well, there's two things, I guess. One would be more physical, like you're going to die and be reborn forever, according to that model.
That's what I was referring to. Yes.
So that's one issue you might have to grapple with in some way, if you believe that. I don't know. And then the other thing would be like time and being as it relates to meditation practice. Like basic being is a phrase we could use here. When you're meditating, what you're doing is you're working with your intuition. You're just being there almost, right? Or you're trying to. And you work with, there's a technique, the breathing, right? Breathing, whatever, or whatever the technique happens to be. But what you're going for and actually achieving, if you do it long enough and well enough, is a sense of being. You're just there. That's it. And it's actually quite liberating. And maybe even smell the grass or the trees for a minute. And you're like, well, we share this goddamn time and space, don't we? With everything. And I hate to sound like, some sort of hippie, whatever, or, climate change fanatic, which we were talking about before we hit record. My God, it's a hot summer, isn't it, here in Canada? And people are freaking out, Andre, because of propaganda, aren't they? Not to lead us off track, but I think we're still on track.
No, you're right. You're right. The propaganda will frighten us, and time is accelerating. And when an animal is lives, when there's a threat to an animal, the 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 pace of his heart will increase. The animal is in defense mode. The propaganda has the purpose to put us in the defense mode all the time, and we are never able to rest, or, like you mentioned, meditate. The breathing is important, and I like this expression, basic being. I meditate a couple of years, and it was quite interesting because I tried one day to meditate for 10 hours.
Wow. Jeez.
And I'm not, I'm not a Buddhist. And what happened, I sat in my living room on the floor. I had a small mantra. One of my friends, he gave me a mantra. I don't know if it was okay or not. I used this word for about 10 hours, just concentrating on the word. Not like you said last week, not trying to stop my thoughts, not trying to understand them, just accepting them. And after 10 hours, I got up and I went to pick up the book of Émile Zola, Germinal, which is 350 pages. And I read it in 7 hours, straight, without stopping. why I was craving for something. It was the experience of meditating was so frightening, because when you're being, when you feel, like you said, you feel the grass. I felt like I was absorbed by the environment, and it was extraordinary, but it was also frightening, because I was like, wait, who am I?
You're talking about
That's
nihilism. You're talking about inherent bulge
you
reality and nihilism right
well,
here.
the realm last week, when you talked about the sixth realm of
Yeah.
I understood last week this experience. When you talked about, I told myself I was in a state where it was nihilism.
Yeah.
Instead of releasing yourself to absorb and to be in harmony with nature, it was not a good practice. Now I realize this, but it is 35 years ago.
People
So you
struggle with this when they're meditating hardcore. It's always like, I'm freaking out because I feel like there's no ground beneath me. And any good teacher would tell you, no, there is a goddamn ground beneath you. Actually, step on it right now. You can feel it. It's hard, and it's there. And the earth will
yes.
support you in your spiritual quest. It
Well,
will.
that is it, very interesting. The materiality will support you in your spiritual quest. You remember last week this small story about Socrates and his disciple who was. So that's the idea. What do you want? What it's when we meditate, do we Westerners, we're used to we meditate because we want to improve ourselves, improve our life, improve something. We're aiming at something. We need to act, while Buddhism seems to be something quite different.
Yeah, and we're getting into the realm of the completely the materialist view, and the completely dream world view, which many Buddhists fall into, and probably other people who drink ayahuasca think everything's a dream too.
Mhm.
So you got to be careful here, probably somewhere. And I'm no expert.
Well, the
I'm a
dream,
student. I'm a student of
the
reality, man.
the dream. I studied Freud a lot, so Freud was, the interpretation of dreams. It's a very interesting book. How you can control your dream too, because I remember in university, one of my teacher, we had a course on how to write. So one week he says, okay, the next exercise that you will have to do, you will write a small text, and you will write it about one of your dreams. And every student in the classroom were in panic, because some people rose their hand. I never dreamt in my life. I don't know. And the teacher told us, he said, don't worry. If I ask you this, you will dream. And the next week we arrive, and he said, okay, who did not dream? Raise your hand. Nobody rose their hand. So the teacher said, okay, either I'm right because I ordered you to dream, or there are some liars in the room. So the idea was, but it is true. I during the week I personally, I dreamt all week, and I was able to write a short story. It is a fiction. You take a part of your dream, so you can command to your mind. You can say, you will do this. The mind is not the boss. You talk about basic meditation, and the mind is not the boss. If we compare Buddhism with transhumanism and artificial intelligence, and we think that the mind is the boss. We think that we can download our memories, our thoughts, our ego, our desire in the cloud, for example. How does that work? Transhumanism seems to be a strange future, a dystopian future, like we don't live in the dystopian present. So what do you think about what is happening? Is it only West? Do Buddhism know about transhumanism and AI?
I don't know. I don't know about Buddhists and Buddhism, what they're thinking.
Do does a monk in Buddha use ChatGPT?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I have no idea. I'm sure that everybody's on the computer and
Yes.
people are having their own thoughts and ideas about stuff. There's a lot of wokery in Eastern religions, Eastern religions in the West, very woke generally. So I really don't know. Like I don't really associate necessarily. I don't ask
Hmm.
them. I don't, I don't hang out with them even on the internet. Buddhists, monks, Buddhist teachers. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've ever even talked to one of those sorts of people. But, since 2020, I think a lot of people have solidified their view in some things, I think. If you know what I
Last
mean.
week you were showing us some island where they are creating a dystopian future,
Hmm.
with artificial intelligence and everything. What about that's interesting. Human could live for 1,000 years. That would bring us to what you were talking about just a little bit earlier about a new Buddha that would arrive in 5,000 years. So
Let me,
this is time.
let's back up slightly because the transhumanism stuff is going to be interesting. We got to really take our time here because
Hmm.
there's a lot of crazy shit getting, overlapping here, but all playing together in a little dance, isn't it? Now let's have some fun here. You can see this, right? Sermon of the Seven Sons. This is new to me. I found this yesterday. I thought this is really interesting. Again, the Buddha speaking from one of these old things. Here it is. All things are impermanent. All aspects of existence are unstable and non eternal. Beings will become so weary and disgusted with the constituent things that they will seek emancipation from them more quickly. There will come a season, O monks, when after hundreds of thousands of years, the rains will cease. All seedlings, all vegetation, all plants, grasses, and trees will dry up and cease to be. There comes another season after a great lapse of time when a second sun will appear. Now all brooks and ponds will dry up and vanish and cease to be. Well, thank you, Mr. Buddha, love and fucking peace. What else you got for us? And it continues and it gets worse.
You're sure it is not Timothy Houston who wrote that? No,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Nova Scotia. No,
It's
but
fun. That's what I was thinking
we
when you're
are
saying that.
there.
Yeah, I was thinking
We
that when
are
you're saying
there.
that. Yeah. The next sun that comes along, anyways, it's the earth bakes like a pot of clay, and people hide under the mountains. That's the last thing that happens. So I don't know.
You remember when we had our first conversation when I invited you, there was this bomb, the battle for the planet of the apes. They were living in a cave because there was
Hmm.
a nuclear war. So what you're mentioning, it can be possible considering where we are now politically. It is not. It is possible. I don't say it is. This is what will happen, but we have to take account this possibility so we can maybe change it.
Yeah, for listeners or viewers in the future, right now here in Canada, Eastern Canada, where Andre is and where I am, there's a massive drought. You could say, maybe heat wave, but definitely drought, no rain, and it happened last year too, actually, but it was worse. And we both have pretty big gardens, lots of watering going on, so we're managing that. But there's a lot of fires. People are freaking out, and the media is linking it all to COVID mandates, saying, "Oh, here comes the ghosts of the COVID period. These scumbags who want their fucking freedom. They're back." Calling, there's politicians on the news right now saying these anti-vaxxers are calling the office, telling them what no one's allowed in the forest. This is the thing. This is the point. No one is allowed in the forest in this province, or you'll get a $25,000 fine. Over 10, maybe even 15 or so of these fines have been issued. And the media is saying that, comparing this to the COVID era, this cry for freedom, right?
Well, this is fascinating because now you can uncover the hoax. You can uncover the propaganda. They are using the same stratagem, and you know, we think that people will wake up. We talk about meditation, most people will not wake up. And sometimes I say, well, you cannot, if you cannot wake them up, or if you cannot help them to wake up, you're losing your time and you're losing their time, because in a Buddhist perspective, you would say they will have to die and reincarnate to be able to evolve. Like I said, I think I said that last week. I said I thought I would. I don't want to reincarnate, but now I realize that I'm not that intelligent. So most probably I will reincarnate because I still have a lot of things to do. I cannot be Buddha. So forget about. So what you're mentioning now is interesting. They're using the same stratagem. They're not very creative, aren't
No,
they?
no, because they have people already encased in the post-human mold. And all they have to do is push a fucking button and they will do what they're told.
Yes.
In fact,
Yes.
there are people here near me, climate fanatics.
Yes, you were talking climate zealots and.
Absolute
But
zealotry.
you know our common colleague and friend Gilbert McInnes, who wrote about post-humanism. We have post-humanism and transhumanism. What would be the Buddhist perspective for a post-human world? Robots, only robots, and an elite who are served by robots. This is the romantic view of the elite. They all have their $1 billion yacht, and it's only robots that serve them. And they are 500 million, and there's no peasants, and the planet is saved, and everybody. It's like the prince wakes up the princess. He kiss with a kiss, and after that they have children, not transgender, and they live forever until the end of time, which is there's no end. How do we get out of this stupid fairy tale?
No, there's a great decline, man. Well, my contention is, and this is just my own opinion. I mean, I don't know. I look around and I do think about things. Maybe I think wrongly. I don't know. Apparently, I do think wrongly, according to my own government, and the news, and the medical industry, and everyone else, and academia. I think strangely because I want my fucking freedom. Anyway, what's the point here? What was that question again? It's just like, wow. No, here's the thing. I was about to say, I think that we have reached the end of the world. Okay, I've said it. That's what I think. So what? Not a problem. You know what?
There's one thing. One of my ex-friends, I have a lot of ex-friends today because of the COVID mandate and what happened. He told me one day, he was talking about a man who was 75 years old, like they call them boomers. And the man said, I don't care about what happened tomorrow. When you grow older, maybe you pay more attention to time. And he said, I don't care. I lived a great life. I take the life day to day, and it's okay. And he was, type of selfish person that doesn't care about other people, doesn't care about his children or grandchildren. And he said, if there's a nuclear war tomorrow, I live my life. And my question is, but what about the 2-year-old little girl?
Yeah, I know. This is a great question. You're leading us in a great direction. I was hoping to get to.
So you see this it is this ego, me, myself, and I. It is me. Okay, you have an opinion, David. I have an opinion. We are human. We try to base our opinion on fact, on our experience, personal experience, on science, on beliefs. But it seems that, like you are mentioning, we are arriving at the end of time. It's the ego, the supremacy of the ego. There's what's left? What's left for
nothing.
mankind?
Nothing. This is the Nietzsche dream. This is the dream of Friedrich Nietzsche. Masters and slaves, man. That's it.
That's
simple. Simple future coming fast. We are going to be slaves. Yeah.
So slave. If I refer to Leo Tolstoy, when he freed his serf, his vassal, many of them told him, Master, we don't want to leave. You are merciful. you're generous, you're a kind man, you even take care of our elder people when they are sick or they cannot work anymore. The idea of being a slave, in the bad in a bad way, uh, some people, they say, I prefer to be a slave. I prefer to be fed
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and not take any decision.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have any will, no free will. Somebody decides for you. That's what we call tyranny usually, or an authoritarian regime. If we're going through this, which would be the future of mankind, one future, there's many
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
You will have people like you and me who will maybe not like this type of future, because we have a conception of freedom. Modern slavery, we are already slave of technique.
Yeah.
Aren't we slave of technique?
The technological government, you mean technique?
Well, not only that, podcast, computers, bank account with, cryptocurrency. You have to call you go to your bank. They ask you two identification card. They ask you 25 question, the birth date of your mother, the name, the birth date, the birth name of your mother, this, and it's like we're guilty all the time.
Well, wait until very soon. You won't even be speaking to humans when you try to do something in society.
We already are there.
This is from the Canadian News just a couple of days, 3 months ago. They put this out.
Wafa Shafiq is used to doing job interviews online, but she was shocked when her latest interviewer wasn't human.
I think it felt odd. I was caught off guard a couple of times.
Welcome to the interview for the Marketing Specialist 2 position.
She says the AI agent was extremely polite, though she felt something was missing.
There's no small talk. There was no nothing personal, and I wasn't able to really tell if my answers were landing or not.
Thank you for taking the time to interview today.
Shafiq and other job seekers are sharing clips on social media. These AI hiring bots can now screen, shortlist, and even talk to job candidates.
Do you have any questions about how this interview will go?
I do think that this will become the norm for a lot of industries. So think like a manufacturer.
That's the guy who invented this. So of course he's got a great review of the whole thing, right?
Of course, and most probably is billionaire.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, and he's probably hanging out on this Honduras island that you just mentioned. Can you see
Well,
this?
I have a colleague. I have some, people. They write text with AI.
Mhm.
I'm a writer. Do I use translator? Yes, because, for example, I will write a text in French, and I will use a translator to help me translate it in English, and then I read the text, I work with it. I'm writing. I'm a writer, and I can
Mhm.
tell you, if somebody tells me, "Oh, I wrote a text with AI," I will say, I'm not reading it. I will not read what you are writing, because it is not you. You have no emotion. This has no emotion, no glitch. We call this a bug in the machine. No bug.
Mhm.
You can say that Mozart cannot exist today because there's no bug in the machine. There's no possibility of a glitch where you will find a genius. A perfect world will be hell.
Yeah.
In a way.
Hell. Yeah, like Mordor, where everybody are orcs under the control of Sauron, who has the ring that can control their mind. That's it.
Exactly. So what's the purpose of having a mind if you're controlled 100%? There's no mind. It's like we are there's a theory about we are antennas, and we're receiving information, or we have an avatar on another planet. There's a lot of theories. What's the purpose of the being? You were talking about in the beginning of the show, the being, time and being, like Heidegger.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a
So
mysterious thing. Yeah.
Do you think that with artificial intelligence, when he said, this young man, when he said this will become the norm, I don't want this normie. I don't want this this world. I don't want to talk to a machine.
No, me neither. No.
I don't have any interest at all. I just hope that you're not a machine nowadays.
Yeah, well, who knows?
And because we're starting to feel that we don't know it. Me, I did one little test with the AI with ChatGPT. I wrote a small comment, a question to ChatGPT, and I said, "Who is Andre Meloche, the writer? And can you give me a sense of his play?" And I wrote the name of the play. Of course, because my texts are on the internet, immediately I had the answer with bullshit. It was total bullshit because it was a play. It is a tragedy. I asked especially about this play, and it was so bullshit. I wanted to say, but what if young generation they take this and they believe that it is true? The reality in their head will change. How do we get out of this?
Well,
Can Buddhism help us?
No, people have to help themselves, man. People have to help themselves, and that's it. I was looking up something today about Sam Gamgee from the Lord of the Rings story, and this particular scene where he fights the giant spider named Shelob. And I looked also for artificial intelligence to ask what sort of metaphors are encoded here, what sort of spiritual or psychological innuendo and etc. Right, archetypes. And it started to talk about this gender stuff. The giant spider is the womb of the mother, and he penetrates with his sword. And I was thinking, you fucking idiots. So I rewrote it a few times, and finally they gave me Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, Facing Darkness, and the lowly gardener who suddenly becomes the fucking hero of the story. And Tolkien himself admitted that Sam is the actual hero of this whole story. This humble country kid, right?
This is very interesting what you're mentioning, because it took you a couple of times to be able to formulate the proper question.
Yeah.
This I've noticed this when you research something on the internet with Google or Brave or whatever tool you're using. If you know what you're searching, or if your question is intelligent enough to go around the algorithms, you will be able to reach results much better. Because if you rely on classical question, you will have classical answer. And immediately, I've noticed this since many years. I use a lot of research motor like Google. There was Yahoo at the time, and I realized that finding the knowledge takes time. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 questions until you arrive where you can really have, I will not say an honest answer by AI. That does not exist because AI, it is the opposite of intelligence. This is first of all, it's a total contradiction. Total contradiction. So what you're mentioning is interesting because you had to take a lot of you tried a lot, ask many questions before you could have because you knew the answer. You knew the answer. You knew you're testing the machine, and the machine is stupid, and you taught the machine. I'm pretty sure you would go after, or you would give me the first question, and I would ask it because with an a different IP address, and most probably the machine would recognize it because the machine learned from you. It's not the opposite. The machine does not teach nothing. The machine will never teach nothing.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about artificial intelligence then. My goodness, it's it's a scam, isn't it? Artificial, well, AGI is the thing that they're predicting, right? Predicting. I know a thing or two about predictions. Remember the COVID scam predictions from England College? Neil Ferguson, the guy who also predicted all the other diseases that didn't happen, like mad cow disease and those other stuff. There was also predictions about the future. Here, billions of dead people or whatever from COVID, and it wasn't like that. And now the same groups of people are predicting all this shit. Academia, right? The medicine and health industry are involved in this. It's like they think, what kind of a world do they really think that they're building here? Deep down in their own egos. What
My
do they really
feeling is
think?
that
They're not
they
trying
are
to help, and they're not trying to help
no,
anybody.
at all. They're not
Mm.
trying to help, and frankly, I think they're not thinking. Thinking is a process, and you're talking about predicting. They're predicting the future because they're creating it. That's what they're doing, and they're saying there's no other alternative, no
Yeah.
other option. And that's always. I think it was George W. Bush in 2002 after the 9/11 event. He said, "While you are trying to understand the present, we are
Mm.
creating the future." So they make our mind busy with something,
Mhm.
preparing something else for us. Every time, it's like a chess game. They're always one step ahead.
Let's talk
How
about
do we?
yeah. Let's go through the anatomy of a technocrat. Do you know about this island off the coast of Honduras called Roatan? And
I think you showed it. Is
they
it this?
named they named. Oh, am I showing that correctly? Can you see that? Oh, sorry, I'm such an idiot. Wait a minute. Here it is. Sorry. This is the website, free to build. This is a small
Mhm.
island off the coast of Honduras called Roatan something, and it's a little community of techno bros, you could say. Lots going on here. I
Mhm.
don't. We just got to scratch the surface, but it's a startup zone with regulation and tax autonomy. A Hong Kong style enhanced economic zone in Honduras. Companies are invited here to do things, and we will go quickly here to the businesses, and this will open up where we want to go a little better. Company directory. These people are over here building offices, doing work. Who's first on the list here? You might think, oh, duality. What do they do? Let's click it. Accelerating brain uploading, Andre, with no government regulation and probably human experimentation. Let's just be honest.
Yes, most probably. Most probably.
Humanity, here's their mission statement of this company living on this island, and we'll scratch the surface just a little more on this group. Because what they're doing is they're building the government of the future, and they're selling it to actual countries. This
Mhm.
is technocracy that they're building, and it's worse than that. It's a transhumanist Nazi hell of experimentation. That's where we're fucking going. Not to some free utopia, but actually a very, very dark and evil dystopia. So we'll see. What does this company do? Humanity doesn't know how the brain works, and thus can't cure, enhance, or replace it. We aim to solve this by creating whole brain uploads. Beginning by simulating small organisms, we aim to enable in silico drug development, brain disease treatment, and production of the first uploaded intelligence. And you could look at this all day. They're full of shit. This is a cult.
It is what you're mentioning about treating disease.
Hmm.
We know since COVID, and I think there's a lot of people who know this even before COVID. They're not treating disease. If
Mhm.
they would treat disease like exoskeleton, they have those combination to help paraplegic people and
Mhm.
building or helping people. Uh,
Yeah.
they are not helping them. They're using them as guinea pigs to advance what they call science, which is I call religion or a cult.
Yeah.
It is not science. It has nothing to do with science, because science, you have to deal with probability. You have
Mhm.
to deal with debate. You have to deal with what there's a concept in the book of Alan Chalmers. What is this thing called science? Falsificationism. It means that when you have a theory, you expect all your colleagues to try to break it because you want to prove that it is solid. It's the only way that your theory will survive. It's because you want all your colleagues that they will attack it and they will challenge you until it breaks. And if it doesn't break, it makes it stronger. I would say, I will quote Nietzsche. But the idea is there. And this is not what they're doing. Every time we challenge them, and this is why you mentioned the idea of government, no government accountability or no government law. They can do whatever they want because they're never challenged. Those people, they always look very nice, young people with a nice video, nice setting, but there's nobody who's asking any hard question because they don't have answers.
No.
This shows me that they are dishonest and they want to create this dystopian world. This is technocracy. The technocrat always surround himself with other technocrats because he does not support the contradiction. That's counter-intuitive compared to Buddhism, which is not the ego. We were talking about the ego last week. Superman. We have Superman today.
Yeah. Do you know who Mark Andreessen is?
No.
He's one of the technocrats. We don't need to get into his bio. This is his website, and this is many pages long. Their little manifesto: technological values, the meaning of life, the enemy. Who's the enemy to them?
Who's the enemy?
The future, the patron saints of techno-optimism, and Nietzsche.
Wow.
And Nietzsche is in here. They put fucking Nietzsche in this list. Milton Friedman.
He's
recommending. So while I stop though back up here, you have to hear this. This is how these people think of themselves, and our deconstruction of the technocrat is not over yet. There's one more thing to show, but look at this. We believe that advancing technology is one of the most virtuous things we can do.
We believe this.
We believe. Who's we? We believe in deliberately and systematically transforming ourselves into the kind of people who can advance technology. We believe this certainly means technological education, but it also means going hands-on, gaining practical skills, working within the leading teams, aspiring to build something greater than oneself, aspiring to work with others to build something greater as a group. That sounds like communism. We believe the natural human drive to make things, to gain territory, to explore the unknown, can be channeled productively into building technology. We believe that while the physical frontier, at least here on Earth, is closed, the technological frontier is wide open. We believe in exploring and claiming the technological frontier. You see how they talk? They're talking about dragons. They talk about the hero's journey. Look, right here. We believe in adventure, undertaking the hero's journey, rebelling against the status quo, mapping uncharted territory, conquering dragons, and bringing home the spoils. What the fuck is these guys' problem here?
If I may ask you, you see, rebelling against the status quo. This is quite important because they want permanent revolution.
Yes.
So when you have permanent revolution, you always put people on defense mode, in the defense mode. They can never rest. They can never meditate. They can never attain the state of Buddhism in a way that they would be in harmony with the world, with the universe, call it whatever you want. It shows that they do not want people to elevate. I could use the word soul or elevate their spirit because they keep you busy, frightened, insecure. There's a concept about, the container. I read this many years ago. There's David Orbach. He's an architect, a French architect, and he was talking about the idea of containers. They want to make containers. Brookfield wants to make houses. Carney's company, Brookfield, wants to make houses for everybody with containers, with small structure. The container, the metaphor of a container, is the symbol of nomadism. No ground, no culture, no roots. You are moving all the time like you're a product. We saw those big ship that have lots of container, thousands of container on them.
Yep.
They play on this. You will never rest. Never. You cannot rest. Maybe social credit. If you don't have social credit one day, that's it. It is made. That's your issue. So what you're talking about, the tyranny of this technocracy is, yes, exactly. Shelter. You see, they don't even call them dignified shelter.
Yeah,
the shelter. It is not a house.
You probably have these in Quebec. We have them here in Nova Scotia. There's maps where these are all over the world, in the Western world. They're little mini gulags, and they sort of vary in DEI with the
Oh yeah,
they wear
and
masks.
with the mask and everything. That's exactly.
Here we go. Look, there's Kelowna, BC has one here. Look, this
That's
is
yes.
for this is for homeless people, right? And
I
and
saw
you know
this.
what? They give them drugs. They give them drugs.
Those
This is
are
safe supply.
internment camp.
Yeah,
Those are internment camp.
Yeah, and they're spreading all over the place, and that's where you're going to fucking live, and so am I. God damn it, very soon. If things don't turn around here,
You mentioned something. Most probably things will not turn around. Maybe we have to go through this hell to achieve the state of Buddha. Remember the first episode when you showed us the emaciated Buddha.
Yeah.
Me, I was shocked when I see this, and I told myself, do we have to go through this suffering to enlighten us? I don't know. That's a question.
Well, I had a note here that I wrote down, like the future. You brought up the future. I mean, do we care or do we not? And if we do, what does that look like, right? I mean, for me personally, I don't know. I don't know. I took a bit of a black pill take. I think this is the end of the world, and I can't shake that. But I also feel fine. You know that song? It's the end of the world, and we know it, and I feel fine. And I feel fine
Yes.
by the band REM. You know, I'm in that mood all the time. But I have a pretty good life. I'm not feeling the effects intensely through whatever. You know, I grow my own food and shit.
Yes.
We live a good life here. We do. But we built it that way because that's how we always want it to be. Quiet, off the beaten track, do our own thing, and just leave us alone, world. But the world is not going to leave us alone much longer, I don't think.
No. And maybe I will not say practice of meditation, but the state of mind of Buddhism can help us face this reality and not hide from it. Being aware doesn't mean that we have to go and do a protestation and everything, but like you said, growing foods, being in nature, and except in Nova Scotia today, because shit, it is Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland. In Quebec, we were really disappointed because we were not the first to impose a ban. Usually we're very good at this. But people in Quebec, they crave it, and they say, oh, like you were mentioning backstage, they say, no, it is all right. We have to ban those people, those COVID dissident and everything.
The subverted people. They cheer this on, and I've heard it with my own ears just yesterday. My wife heard it at work in the hospital by a coworker. Well, stupid idiots are going into the forest right now, and it's like, what do you mean, stupid idiots are going into the forest right now? It's illegal. It's a $25,000 fine. They're idiots. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to go into the forest right now. But it's like, what if you just wear sneakers? How will you start a fire? Explain it to me.
They cannot.
They can't. Explain to me how a fucking vaccine that doesn't do anything is going to save the world also. Explain it to me. No, nobody can. These are the subverted people. You ask about the future, there is none. The future is right now.
So that's a good statement. The future is right now. When we look at those people, first of all, I feel that they are dead. And we saw all the horror movie, the zombie movie. I don't remember the title because I didn't watch them, but I still understand the way they work. You talk to people like this, they act like zombie. They act, their life. You need habits in life. It's okay, a routine. I wash the dishes in the morning all the same time. My wife says, "Why you do it like this?" Because I like it. Because it reassures me. Routine reassures us. That's one thing. But if you only have routine, one day it's getting boring. Those people, they act automatically. You remove the plate, they will continue to dry the plate because they cannot face this reality, what you're mentioning, this future that is now. You mentioned this small island with the dystopian world already. Those people, they believe that they will apply their model to mankind. I wrote in my essay, it was in 2018, sharing of knowledge, the oaks of modelization. We saw it, like you mentioned, with COVID. This scientist or this statistician who said that there would be 50 million death in Great Britain, and they follow model like the model is the reality. I'm old enough to have. I was a little boy. We had Meccano. I don't know if you know this. And it's all metal part with little screws and bolts and nuts, and you can build a crane. And it was very interesting. Every child, every boy was dreaming of having a Meccano. So you have a Meccano, you built a crane, you built a bulldozer, you built things like this, and you pretend that this is reality. This is the world of a child. But those people, they are in power and they have brain of children. They think that the model is reality. And can you imagine a world now where we will be
post-human? We already talked about it. The post-human world is also the animal realm of the Buddhist cosmology, animal realm.
Yes, you were mentioning this last week.
Food, a machine will just stuff it in you, or it'll just go in through your veins. And then you'll just put on the goggles. Speaking of the food, do you know anybody who can cook fucking food anymore? Or do they just stick it into a machine and push a button to make it happen? And then get fat and sick. They're enslaved in their body.
Yes.
Your disconnection from food creates a physical gulag for you forever.
Yes.
Your health is destroyed, and they want that to happen to you.
2-3 weeks ago, we were talking, and you said you did a lot of pesto because you had a lot of basil. Now I have a lot. And me, I'm a maniac of basil. So I said today, okay, after the show today, I have to go and do it because I don't want to lose it. And it's not complicated. But what you said, they don't cook.
Yeah.
Cooking is meditation.
This is something about the society to look at the food, because we talk about wheels, mandalas, in the middle of the wheels.
Yes.
The middle of the wheel for me is food. What we're doing to acquire it, cooking it, what is it, and where did you get it from? And do you just trust whatever's on the shelf? Because if you do, I think that's a problem. Whatever's cheapest, quote, what kind of, where'd you get those carrots, Mom? I just got whatever was on sale over there. And I look at them and they taste like poison.
Yes.
I grow actual carrots. They taste sweet and crunchy and delicious. These fucking things taste like poison. Some of these varieties.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't get it, man. I can taste it, but people don't taste it. They don't understand. It's
so
crazy.
They are very far from what you were mentioning earlier, the awakening. So we are in dark age. They are in really dark age.
Yeah, we talked about delusion last time, and Chef Gordon Ramsay's show, and it's so true. That show really points it out, man. The deluded person. It's more deep than I ever could have imagined. And maybe I'm deluded. I don't know. It's that powerful.
If
but
you
I
bring
think,
go ahead. If you
mentioned aggression there, I think briefly, and I think we're trying to tease out some Buddhist kind of concepts here with our analysis today of the world. Aggression, a fundamental lack of it in your being, is enlightenment. You could look at it that way.
This is quite interesting. There are two postures, what you're mentioning. The first one would be, let's say somebody threatens you. If you're very strong, you're talking about your neighbor is much bigger than you. Maybe you will not retaliate because I think you will not win.
I only said that in a way that when men get angry, they're scary. And the climate change fanatic person that I know was getting angry with me for questioning it. And I was like, this is just unbelievable. Can't even have a conversation about different ideas, right? Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, if the person in front of you is very big and very strong, the only thing you can do is to negotiate. Or if you have to face death because the person really wants to threat you and you will lose. You have to be able to be in peace it's the same thing for somebody who's very strong. A person who's strong cannot be aggressive. That person will become a tyrant. And the way I perceive Buddhism, for example, would be self-control, not ego. You were mentioning Buddha, how he's able to not control himself, to be in harmony with nature, like he's practically evanescent. So
the middle way.
How do we react to this? Yes,
the middle way.
If
right?
The middle way. You were talking about the middle way 2 weeks ago. That surprised me because I did not have this perception of what would be harmony in
Buddhism. If you're feeling unbalanced, what is it that's causing that? A human being is born with the right to feel balanced and feel safe and comfortable and have a good fucking life. But no, not anymore. Andre, this is a spiritual war that we are in. A spiritual war. Get used to it, people. This phrase should be in your mind every day. Is that what's going on here? Is it? I don't know.
Is it? If you bring up the slide, I think it's the third slide that could be interesting, or the fourth one. This one. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien and Clive Staple Lewis. Can you talk about them a little bit so we can understand?
Yes.
What are they doing for the future of mankind? What did they do, and how can we relate them to Buddhism?
Okay, this is going to be fun. It is my contention that science fiction is a good way to diagnose the problems of today, 2025, here in the Western world. And fantasy is the way to address it. C.S. Lewis was great buddies with J.R.R. Tolkien. Let's take a look first at C.S. Lewis, who is going to give us a diagnosis of today's world in the science fiction vein. And people are probably familiar with this, right? You've read the book. The Abolition of Man. You probably know about this book, Andre, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, this is C.S. Lewis's great first ever introduction to the concept of a post-human. And the first chapter is called Men Without Chests. And it says here, you see that, right?
Yes, that's an old book.
Oh, yeah, it's old. Yeah.
Wow.
The phrase men without chests is a metaphor coined by C.S. Lewis in the 1943 book, The Abolition of Man, to describe individuals who lack the integration of reason, emotion, and will that defines a balanced human character. Lewis uses the chest as a symbolic representation of the spirited element, or magnanimity, which acts as the indispensable liaison between the intellect, the head, and the instincts, the belly.
The belly.
The chest, yes. So the chest houses stable sentiments and emotions that are organized by trained habit and reason, enabling a person to act virtuously and make moral judgments. And believe me, that's just the tip of the rabbit hole for this. That's the introduction to the post-human, where totalitarianism seeks to destroy your very fucking soul, right? To make us slaves, to destroy our fucking goddamn heart, right?
I like the word magnanimity. Magnanimity in French. I didn't know how to pronounce it in English. That's what I was referring to earlier. Being magnanime means that you can be threatened, but you will respond kindly. In a sense that the balance between the chest would be the balance between the reason, the emotion. You can have your reason, you can have your emotion, and you have a balance between that. The middle way, what you were mentioning.
There you go. Way. Emotional regulation. But you got to be able to look inside of yourself. Isn't there an old saying, know thyself? Know thyself, right?
Know Greek, thyself, yes.
Or is that the Latin, the famous Latin thing, know thyself?
Yes.
Well, you got to know yourself, right? You got to. You have to figure it out.
There's one small thought that I have since many years about fear. I discovered that if you want to recognize fear, you have to feel it.
Yes.
And if you feel it, if you feel the threat, you can ask your reason to take control. But if you don't feel the fear, They say, if you know your enemy, you know how to react. If you don't know the fear, you're never in contact with fear, you never take risk, you can never see your true potential.
Mhm. Now we're getting into Tolkien here, Andre. The Gandalf meets the Balrog at the bridge of Khazad-dûm, a bridge over a chasm into black emptiness. Gandalf's confrontation with the Balrog is a profound metaphor for the cosmic struggle between light and darkness, good and evil, embodied by two angelic spirits of equal power, but opposing allegiance. Both Gandalf and the Balrog are Maiar, or spiritual beings, present since the creation of the world, making their clash not mere physical, but symbolic of a deeper spiritual conflict. So it's pretty powerful.
If you
stuff.
talk about can you talk about the Tolkien mythology? What does he refer to? Because the creation of the world, okay. Are we far from the idea of Buddhism with Tolkien?
No.
With this?
Well, I think that yes, there's somewhere we're in a massive archetypal stew here together right now. That crosses these thresholds of labels: Christianity, God, no God; Buddhism, no Buddhism; soul, self, none of it. It doesn't matter. It's in some point, none of this matters. At some point, you have to face it, that things are uncertain, but you got to be brave.
So it refers to what you were talking, impermanent. Nothing is permanent, but you still have to face this state of movement. What would be okay, I have a question for you. What would be the difference between impermanence, something that is moving all the time, which would be the Buddhist concept, and this dystopian world of artificial intelligence and transhumanism, where they always want you to be on the move, because they want to make you, they want to control you through fear. How can you cannot reconcile those two positions.
You got to get off the gadgets and the gizmos, right? Don't become a machine. And how is using them not becoming them, right? If you ride a bicycle, you and the bicycle are really doing the job together to get to A, B.
Together, yes.
Together.
That's a good analogy, a bike, because a bike, you ride on a bike. Children, when they start, they have some small wheels, or they have a father behind watching for them, and then, but a bike is two wheels. You're always you can always fall. You always have to keep the balance, keep on moving. That's a very good analogy.
I just came up with it just then. Look at me. We're coming up with great analogies. No,
well,
Tolkien is the master of great analogies, my friend. Master. Oh yes.
Yeah. So was he helpful in describing present time?
Oh yeah, because
through his fantasy.
Yeah, I think the times of any kind of Buddhist wisdom for the world is over, and now we have to look to the Christian wisdom probably somewhere here, because we are dealing with absolute darkness, an absolute, I don't know, what's the opposite? Light, I guess. Where's the light? Where's the light, Andre? You know, where is it?
So you're saying that Buddhists could not help us now, or is it old?
Well, sit on your ass and meditate, look inside, stop looking at this shit. And if you got a lot of bad problems going on in your mind, you got the anxiety and the internet is driving you crazy, you know what? You got to stop it. Addiction, yes. Addiction is very serious, and we're addicted to everything, no matter what.
We can get addicted to everything. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. But in some sense, this habitual mind we are an addict to life. Why are we here? We crave into being. Yeah.
It is very funny what you're saying, because you're saying we are addicted to life for many years. I was not afraid of death. I was afraid of losing life, because I was always saying to my friend, I love so much life. I understood one thing. I love too much life. It is an addiction. It became an addiction, because we know we are in a world that is not permanent. that one day we will die. That's why it is so hard when we lose somebody. Because if we are addicted to that person, we think that we love the person. Most probably we do. But if we are addicted to the person, there was a very nice phrase when I visited the Mount Saint Michel in France, this great monastery, great cathedral on the island of in Brittany. And in a small grave, it was written, "If I knew that I loved you that much, I would have loved you even more." And the phrase, because I think the man buried his wife, and after that, he started to realize that he loved her so much. I think, thinking about it now, I think it's an addiction.
Yeah, and addiction has a dark side, man, too. Like,
Yes.
Like you want it and don't want it, right? And sometimes you really don't want it.
You were talking about
people see this way with life, their own life. Sometimes they don't want it. Can you imagine that darkness?
That dark, they don't want, we maybe we'll not talk about suicide or MAID, because MAID has a very dark side. But the idea, what you're mentioning, some people are yes, it's dark. It's dark, true dark life. You said it yourself. You have quite a good life. You grow your vegetable. I had a good career. Was not always happy working for Hydro-Quebec, but I tried to stay free. That was maybe the purpose. And now that we grow food, I write. We try to stay above not the mass. I think we try to stay above this chaos.
Schopenhauer said that the best we could do is to have the least amount of suffering as possible, because we're going to suffer all the time. So yeah, I'm happy with the way my life is, but I suffer all the time too. I'm alive and I'm going to die. I had a major health episode 6 months ago and I'm not fully recovered yet. I have some cognitive issues, so sorry for being on a podcast with that going on, but I'm doing all right. It's fine. I'll make a full recovery. So I understand the thread of life, and the snip, and it's gone. It happened to me. It almost did. Yep.
I had a friend. So I have to talk in the past often because I lost a lot of people, more like many people during COVID. But the man was he's a genius. He's a genius. He was working with me, and he was always analyzing processes with me. He suggested to me many writers that I read. I thank him today. But the man had the Asperger syndrome, autism. And one day we were talking, and I looked at him. His name is Andre, like me. And I said, "You know what, Andre? I hope they will never cure your autism." And he was, "Why do you say this?" I said, "Because you are so great. You're so intelligent. You have so much intuition. I don't want to lose this." And he's a great individual. It was like, it's not because they diagnose something that it is bad. Yes, it has an influence on your brain, on your behavior, but it is part of you. Why you would want to? It's like, and I told him, I said, I don't want them. I'm a writer. I don't want them to cure me because I'm a freaking poet. I don't want that, because I will lose my personality, will lose myself. And maybe those writers you were mentioning, Lewis or Tolkien, they are predicting what is happening now. Do we know any good, I would say, Nostradamus today?
Nostradamus?
Except those people who think that they will create a dystopian future with AI and transhumanism.
Well, I guess to just do a Buddhist, concept maybe about this stuff. Like the future is a dream. It's not real. And it never will be. It'll never be real. It can't be, because there's only the past. Here's a funny thing. It's actually interesting. It's not funny. It's interesting. Regarding meditation, regarding time, regarding Buddhism, all this stuff. You're going to like this. This is the fourth moment. The fourth moment. You get the past, you get the future, and you got the present, where people are always trying to live, right? In the present. That's 3. But there's a 4th moment, according to a Buddhist teacher who I have heard speak. And the 4th moment is like, when you're in the present moment, as we're describing, it's nice, isn't it? You're free from your anxiety, from your depression. And you think, wow, isn't that beautiful, that the way that sun is shining today on that flower or whatever, right? Something grabs you. You see a deer, right? We've kind of been talking about this. This is the present moment, and it's hokey to talk about it in the West. I get it. But we're going to talk about it like adults. The 4th moment is more deep, because you're no longer even noticing that you are in the present moment. You're not noticing anything at all. You're just there. This is the Zen thing that cannot be spoken. And I actually had a Taoism thing, because C.S. Lewis talked about Taoism a lot. The men without chests, right? These fucked up people, post-humans. You know what they need? A dose of Taoism, not Buddhism. The way of nature. That's Taoism, the way of nature, which is an unspeakable religion, almost, right? The wind blows and you feel it, and you don't even analyze it. So this is the depth of the meditative absorption, right? Where in the Zen are, that's their thing. They love this stuff. That's why they say weird shit all the time, the Zen people. That seems to not make sense. It's not logical, but it breaks your mind into a state of non-logic. Okay? So what do you think of that? Is that weird or profound in any way? No.
Sorry, it is not weird. When I was talking earlier about when I was meditating for 10 hours, that was in 1995. I was not really aware of what was happening. And I remember another episode 8 years after, in 2003. I was in my garden. I had a house in a small garden, and I was on a transat chair. It was very nice summer in June, and I started just to I could not call it meditation, but I was like observing trees and birds flying, and suddenly I felt, I think, what you're describing. I was like being absorbed by nature.
Yeah.
I could never describe it like you describe it now.
It's like the world. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think if I go back to the impression that I had, I sensed that impression 1 or 2 times in my life in 2003, like this. Like and it's like, even if I die, I will be part of this. It was so peaceful moment. Maybe what you're describing, the 4th moment, the 4th, the present, the future, and the past, and this.
That's the moment.
I don't know how to call it. Maybe
that's the 4th moment.
That's the 4th. You put words on my experience. That's good, because now I can explain it. I could not explain it before.
Yeah. Well, the Buddha was a scientist of the self. That's what people say, and the academia, scientist of the self, very psychological and experiential, and tinkering with the mind, and sitting down and meditating and looking in, thinking, what's going on here, and the whole emotional world. How's that working? So it is a little bit sciencey, psychology, sciencey, right? Buddhism. That's a major part of it. Science.
Yeah, one technique or one process of science is observation. You do an experiment, you observe the results. So, like you said, Buddha was probably aware that observation is part of reality. In a sense.
There you go. Yeah.
In a sense, if you go to we talked about Tolkien and Lewis. If you go to
sorry, I'm going to remove that. We're going to talk about this painting later. We'll talk about this later. That's the wrong thing.
Yes, that's Kronos, exactly.
That's the final message for today. Will be Kronos.
If you
which one?
The one before.
Before?
No, this one,
Before?
another one. Yeah,
Another one?
real eschatology. No,
Real eschatology.
this one. Okay.
Okay.
Real eschatology, which we could refer to, for example, transhumanism, AI, and this dystopian world of materialism,
Mhm.
versus prophecy, versus what could be. You were talking about Tolkien and Lewis. Can we see other future today for mankind than the future of transhumanism and AI and the world of robots? How do we create multiple future in the state of mind we are now? Is it possible?
Oh man. Well, of course, there's the future that's promised to us, isn't it? The green utopia with no cows, no agriculture at
No
all.
cows.
Yeah, and a perfect green planet, and a big mega cities where everybody lives, and the hanging gardens of Babylon are there, and we're all living together in this great utopia, and no one
We
owns any
saw this
land.
last week.
Because if you own any land, you're just going to be making a mess because you're a disgusting human. Okay, you're just everywhere you go, you're going to make a fucking mess. You're not allowed in the forests here in this province because you're going to burn the thing down. Humans are cockroaches to the transhumanists. They don't fucking care. We're there to experiment on and to mine. They're mining us. Human beings are the new product for the new capitalism, which is completely unchecked. They have nothing else to suck from the earth or nothing else to do. They need a new agenda. They want to suck the data, hook our minds to machines, create synthetic food for us, cram us into the gulags, and call it bliss and heaven on earth. If anybody can't see this yet, I'm sorry. They're gone. They're not coming back to us. They're gone. Yeah.
You are right. You're right. In a sense, you said something when I asked you, can Buddhism help? You said time of Buddhism is
over.
Is past.
Maybe, yeah.
And you said we have to go through Christian eschatology or Christian doctrine to analyze. Can you describe what you? I'm curious about this.
Well, I think Satanists are controlling the world in some respect. And I could put the Jupiter up on the screen maybe while we talk.
Yes.
This is a painting from like 1820 or something. It's Kronos or Jupiter eating his children.
Yes.
Which is kind of like what the technocracy will do. They don't want anybody, not even their own children, to take their power from them when they get it. This is like Sauron in Mordor. This is evil. So, what was the question again?
Well,
I'm getting there. I'm getting to the point.
No, it is interesting because Kronos in Greek and Jupiter in Latin. Christian, you said
right,
Satan.
Yeah, we're dealing with evil. We're dealing with fucking evil right now.
The strategy or the weapon that we could use could be Christianity. That's it.
Yeah.
How do you? Because if we have an enemy, we need a strategy, or we need a doctrine, or we need something that will help us fight.
Yeah. If you're in a war, you need to have a little bit of aggression. And Buddhists, they think that's very bad. You're never going to get enlightened with anger.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So
but if you're under attack, you have to figure something out.
I would not discard Buddhism. I would keep it in my, my bag or weapon, because I could say during the war against evil, I will use Christianity, and when the peace will come, I could retake Buddhism, because those ancient doctrine, those ancient practices, those ancient belief, if we want to use the expression, they are always there.
Yeah.
We have the duty to preserve them. In my opinion, I think we have to make an effort to understand. That's what we're trying to do here, to understand what is Buddhism. The young generation always arrive and say, okay, move away, grandpa. I will do better than you. Because that's what they call progress. But after 3-4 attempts, the poor boy comes back. He lost 2 teeth and says, "Hey, Grandpa, can you show me how you did it when you were young.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we call knowledge or
Mhm.
wisdom. How do we preserve this history? Because transhumanists and technocrats, they want to destroy the past. They really want to destroy the past. That's a nihilist position. Destroying the past. They have this expression in Latin, tabula rasa. You just remove everything from the table and you start from scratch.
There you go.
So, do you think Christianity can help us?
Well, Christianity does not split hairs about some things, just like the Buddhist doesn't split hairs about things, right? Good and evil is there. And this is what's tricky for me personally, because I always took the academic or the Western hokey Buddhist view that evil is actually, like, human beings behave badly, but evil does not exist in the universe. Something
That's a different.
something you can show me that proves to me that evil is there, because evil is a black darkness. Can it be said that humans and animals can possess such thing as this? And does it exist at all? Is there Satan? I don't know, man. But you know what? I've warmed up to the concept of pure evil. I think it does exist. And this is not a Buddhist take. So I cannot call myself Buddhist, and I don't anyway. I've just studied it a lot, and I take an interest in it. But I do embrace the concept of pure evil. I do. I believe it exists. Now, this is new for me. You know when this happened? 2020. That's when I realized evil exists.
Okay, so evil will incarnate itself in human.
Maybe, and the behavior?
Possess them.
The behavior of people? What was that thing about the evil of the people who participated in all the Nazi stuff that happened? The people of Berlin and so forth? Ordinary evil, or where everybody's just doing what they're told, but it's not so much evil. This is a kind of evil.
Yes, and you're right to make a distinction between those two, because the behavior, I was just doing my work, I followed orders, put your mask, blah, blah, blah. We know this, but I think you're right. There's another evil, this dark one. And
yeah, maybe.
Most people, the mainstream media propaganda, what I call, doesn't want us to believe that evil exists, this dark evil. Satan always try to make you believe that he does not exist.
Yeah, see, that's frightening to me. I'm afraid that might be true. That evil is real, and men.
And if it is real, there's one thing I could say. Maybe when I will meet Michael Jones. I had the interview with him. You know, he's a Catholic theologian, philosopher.
He probably doesn't split hairs. Evil is there, right?
He doesn't split hair. And no. I do agree with you. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about, and the idea of this darkness. Dark evil. He's talking about it. They're not denying it. The difference is when he's talking about the Vatican and the institution, he takes his distance from the institution because he sees that the institution does not take this topic seriously.
There you go.
And I think he makes a difference. Like what you're saying, it's not the concept of Christianity that would be attack. It would be the structure of the institution that does not take seriously what is happening now. When we think about just the COVID mandate and how they forced mandatory injection to people losing their job, their life, and even the Pope at the time, Pope Francis, was saying that to be a good Christian is to be a Christian that is vaccinated. Can you imagine that?
Can I tell you something?
What about God gave us free will?
I have a family member
that disappeared completely. Yeah. So we have to make a difference between the great institution of Catholicism and the Christianity, which would be much more philosophical, if I can use the expression.
Yeah, I guess that's the age-old question these days of religion or spirituality, right? There's an institution. Either you're in the institution or you're kind of outside of it. Same as like being an anarchist but living in a democracy. It's like, I'm Canadian. I live in a democracy. It says that the words here, but I don't necessarily. I was also christened and baptized as a Catholic. I was christened. So I could say I'm a Catholic too if I want to, but that would be very institutional because I don't necessarily believe all that. But however, maybe I'm leaning that way. Don't tell my wife. She's she's Buddhist. She's Buddhist more so than
But
me. You could say she's like,
this
I'm
is what.
Buddhist, but I would
Okay.
never necessarily say that.
But this is why, if we live in a, I will not talk about the democracy. I hate this word. I will say in a free world with
Yeah.
a moral code, your wife would be, she would have the right and not the privilege to practice Buddhism. You would have the right to feel that you are atheist or Buddhist or Muslim or Jewish, believing in the Torah, Judaism. We're not living in this world. We are living in a world where people are antagonists. True religion or faith or belief, many things today, like you're mentioning this environmentalist, let's say, fanatic. They it is a cult. They do not permit you to think differently than them.
Yeah.
Even for the purpose of the debate.
Yeah, and their aggression shows it when you press them on anything.
Exactly. So how can we? You were mentioning magnanimity earlier. Do we have to be magnanimous toward those people?
I don't know, man. It's complicated these days with getting along with each other because this is a part of the problem. They're splintering society into camps, groups,
Yes.
flat Earth and whatever. I don't know. Flat Earth, round Earth. It's like, who fucking cares about this? Our freedom is on the line. Our very life is on the line, I think, or the life of our children, maybe. 2050, ooh, that's the big date when everything's going to happen, Andre. Who wants to live for 1,000 years, and why are they promising us that? Who wants to live for 1,000 years, and why? Why do they want to live for 1,000 years? I would like to know. Maybe I would like it too. If someone could convince me that it's worth to live for 1,000 years, maybe I'll do it.
What is life?
Maybe it's better to die.
But what is life?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
No,
I
but
love that answer.
Oh no, I think you know it more than what you wanted to admit, because you said yourself, I go out, for example, I'm in contact with nature. I'm being, the fourth time, present, past, future, and when you feel it, this is life.
I guess the being, right? Being in time. We discussed Heidegger. Being in,
yes.
You are a being in time, and everything else is a story. Really, maybe, I don't know, but good and evil is there inside of you. Maybe pushing you around, and propaganda does things to you. And there's people out there who do things with children, by the way. Then this is what I mean when I talk about darkness.
Yes.
How can that happen? So much in our world.
You said something, evil and good in us. Is it related to this is more, I think, more Chinese, the yin and the yang?
Sure.
It's more Chinese.
Yeah.
It's the circle and the yin and the yang that are entangled. We are always in movement between those two poles, yin and yang, good and bad, or good and evil. And it's like it reminds me of the 6 realms that you showed last week. Are we changing realms all the time?
Oh yeah, all day long. You get pissed off driving in traffic. You're going to the hell realm where you could just, thank goodness you don't have a gun in the glove compartment. Yeah,
yes.
I'm just kidding around, obviously. And if you're craving chocolate or something even more delectable, drugs, cigarettes, alcohol, sex, something like that.
Lust. Yes.
Maybe if you're craving power, maybe you're going to go be more hungry ghost realm, really intense with your craving, gambling addict, something like that. Animal realm, you just don't give a shit. You're going to microwave your pizza and stick it in your fucking mouth, chew it up and swallow it and call it food. That's an animal realm thing. So that when I talk about food, I really have a lot of thoughts on this. the politics of food, big agriculture, human
Yes.
health, and human psychology related to all this food shit going on right now, and chemicals, and part of the spiritual war and attack on us. Disconnect us from food, disconnect us from the root of nature, and our
Yes.
biological sex, even. The transgender agenda is a big, big part of what's going on right now, in my opinion.
Yes.
I got Baudrillard on the screen there. I'll just get rid of that. We get it. We don't need to talk about Baudrillard all day.
We
think we've
can
covered
we
it.
can we can come back to Baudrillard. I would
Yeah.
like you to show. I would like you to show the next slide because
Okay.
I have a question. I think we touched it a little bit, but the next one, yes, the Tibetan Dark Age. I think you mentioned it earlier that we are in the Dark Age of Tibetan. Can you
Yeah.
explain this?
Yeah,
I would
I
say
can.
this era.
Yeah, very, very, very simple thing here. In ancient India, as we've discussed, they believed in the age of light and the age of darkness, and things ebb and flow, and we're heading down into an age of darkness. The golden age is over. According to that cosmology, and the Tibetans being so close to India, they inherited really old school Indian Buddhism with a lot of this Hinduist, Tantra type stuff. And so they inherited this cosmology, and they've expanded upon it. And in a lot of their literature, the chants, the prayers, the things that they write over there, I have some material here that is about chanting and praying the shit about the Dark Age. Although I live in the Dark Age, it says, in the muck of materialism and spiritual like fog and all this shit, they talk like this, right? That I live in a dark age, I really do. And I hope that I can always find great teachings of wisdom through this period. Buddhists pray that they're never disconnected from great teachers, regardless who. It could be the Buddha, whoever, doesn't matter. At this point, maybe it's Jesus. Let's just get it out here. We're in a war. And are Buddhists prepared to fight a war? We could look at the samurai, Shaolin monks. They employ Zen training, but they're not necessarily Buddhists. Non-aggression, non-violence.
Yes, that's very important what you're mentioning.
Yeah, take no life.
That's very important.
Or you will be stuck in samsara forever.
This is where I'm on the balance. I'm
Yeah,
Catholic too,
sure.
and this is where I'm on the balance, because sometimes I want to fall in the Buddhist world and the Buddhist practice, and sometimes I'm angry because I see that I have to fight. So it's like an oxymoron. It doesn't work. So
you
I'm
and me,
stuck.
you and I are in the same boat, Andre.
Yes,
because I'm calling evil real. This is a Christian thing. This is not a Buddhist thing. Evil is not real. In Buddhist texts, they do use the word evil, but what they mean is bad behavior.
That's what you were talking earlier. Yes, you're right.
Bad thinking, bad behavior, bad speech, moral stuff. Evil in the Christian is more Satan is going to fuck you up bad, and it's going to fuck up this world if we don't fight back. It's
if
war.
we don't fight. That's why we refer to fighting.
Yeah,
to the
resistance.
I
like resist. I like resistance. Right. I like resistance as a word better for me, because I will not employ firearms against a human being. I will never do it. Nope. Unless, I don't know, where the world changes in some strange way, like the science fiction movies. Right. A Carrington event, a cataclysm unforeseen and unexpected happens to us. Maybe this would be a gift right now. You're
mentioning non-violence. There's a small story from Jose Borges, who was an Argentine writer. In this short story, he was in Argentina, and there's a lot of what they call, I forgot the name. I forgot the name. They are like mafiosi, the small criminal, and two criminal. They arrive and they decide to do a duel. And before the duel, they have to fight, and they know that one of them will die. So what do? They both take a shovel, they dig one grave, and they make a pact. The one that will win will have to bury the other one and pray for his soul. Can you imagine? Because you mentioned something about using a firearm against somebody. Can you imagine you have to defend your wife, and
Yeah.
because she's in danger and she will die, you defend yourself, you kill somebody.
Mhm.
And me, in my opinion, I kill a part of myself when I kill somebody else. So, but you
Yeah.
still use it, and after that you say, okay, let's say that maybe this is Christian, but you say, forgive me, God, meaning that it is not intentional. And that's why I like this little short story of Borges, because Borges was always like this, on the edge. There's another small anecdote about a man who is hurt. He's a mafiosi. They're hard on their body, and he has to have his arm, a part of his arm amputated. And that was in the 18th century. They didn't have practically any anesthesia. And the doctor arrived, and he gives him a bottle of alcohol. He said, "Take this." He said, "and we will take care of the pain." And the mafiosi said, "Take care of my harm. I will manage the pain. It is me who has the pain." And those people are hard on themselves. So the man was ready to, because he had to have his arm amputated. And Borges is always playing with this,
Mhm.
with this suffering, or this redemption after the fact. So I think Buddhism could teach us how to redeem ourselves, how to be able to live with something that would destroy our soul, killing a human being, killing an animal.
Well, with enough meditation, you certainly don't feel like killing anybody.
No,
But-
you were mentioning it, and I think we have to learn from Buddhism through this way. What you were describing, I go back again to the sixth realm, because I was very impressed to see how it works. And since 1 week, I can confess you, they're in my mind all the time. When I think, I say, okay, where do I stand? The third, the second. I never go at the top, because I'm not a god. But I feel that now, and sometimes when I catch myself, and I'm in this position where it is I'm angry, or I have a primitive behavior, I say, wait, change realm,
Yeah.
elevate
But
yourself.
th-
I don't
this
say
is
it is easy,
yeah, yeah. That's the fourth moment. Is this the medicine for that problem? The fourth moment is you're outside of the samsaric setup. You're born
Yes.
into a setup of chain reactions in this human mind, and you might have to defend your life and kill. That proves to me that this is not a perfect world. That you may have to defend your family and shoot them or kill them. Maybe you don't know what you would do.
Yes.
Starving people. Solzhenitsyn talks a lot about the gulags and Russia and starvation, and how this
okay.
changes a man too.
This is a very great transition, because show the next slide.
Okay. Next. Okay. Yeah.
Global village,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
Gulag 2.0. What's the difference today?
Global village. This is what they say, right? This is what they talk about. Vaccine equity, AI equity. They're using DEI now with the AI movement, that some children, they don't have a computer, they don't have no money, they're a marginalized group. We need to include them. How can we get artificial intelligence to all the boys and girls of planet Earth, and vaccines too, and everything else to the whole world's children?
That's
This is
communism.
so there you go. It is Gulag 2.0. Behind their teeth, what they really mean is just evil darkness for everybody. I think they want to get rid of us, or just manage us and control us. But the problem is, when you have 10,000 technocrats running the world, some of them are evil, and they have too much power.
In one of my essay, I referred to the tombstone that were destroyed last year in United States.
Oh, yeah,
stating that
the Georgia Guidestones.
Exactly, stating that they want to keep humanity under 500 million people.
Yeah.
I wrote something about this, and I wrote about the fact that you can keep 500 million people, let's say, with 10 million elite,
Mhm.
and 490 million guinea pig. Because how can you test your medication for people who will still be alive if you don't have any life to test it on it? And it doesn't work with monkeys, it doesn't work with rats. You need something or somebody, like you were mentioning, cockroaches.
Mhm.
So they will keep a certain group of humanity that will be imprisoned in a gulag, or what they call a global village, or a 15-minute city. And sometimes they will take one and they will do an experiment on them.
Mhm.
We don't have to invent a fantasy. I'm a writer. I'm having a hard time writing now because I cannot write fantasy anymore. They're better than me. They're better than me. I cannot write nothing that will appeal to readers. They're better than me. Everything they create is like, wow, wow. Maybe they have good writers behind. I
Mhm.
don't know. So we
Mhm.
are in a gulag.
Let's take a look at this guy for a minute. I prepared just a quick thing. This is Brian Johnson, and he's famous for this concept, don't die. There is a Netflix documentary about him and his life, what he's doing. What is he doing? He is tracking 33,000 biomarkers of himself. He's a billionaire. He's got 25 chefs. He spends $2 million per year on medical procedures. He wants to be the first human to live to 125 years old. He's selling this as a marketable regime where you can buy powdered shakes from him, olive oil that he has created. That's called snake oil, by the way. So, and he has a plan to defeat time. And he was at a synthetic biology conference recently where they're talking about CRISPR gene editing, full brain transplants, etc. So we don't need to go too deeply. He's got a blueprint protocol, and he's very famous. They love this guy, this Brian Johnson guy. They see him as almost a guru to the longevity movement. This is a transhumanist offshoot, a cult, a sect. Now let's watch a very short video, just the opening 30 seconds or 10 seconds.
Go
Share
ahead.
this.
It is very interesting.
So here he is sitting down with Vice News. They're famous, Vice, they have a little podcast. Let's listen to just the intro of him speaking.
I'll tell you, like, honestly, what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to make Don't Die into the world's most influential ideology.
Are you really trying to live forever?
Living forever and living for tomorrow are identical concepts. The fastest growing ideology in human history.
This year alone, the movement had landed in San Francisco, Singapore, and Miami.
And have something like, 1 million citizens around the world who are like all in on this philosophy. I'm hoping that you will learn things that you didn't anticipate learning today. We have leaders trained all over the world who are organizing local groups. So Don't Die is a religion. Don't Die is an economic system. Don't Die is a political system. Don't Die is an ethical, moral, and social system. That, let's say we have something like $1 trillion under management, where people take their savings and they put it into a Don't Die managed fund.
Yeah, sure.
Move money in markets to actually move towards things that don't die. But basically, we're trying to build a nation state and a religion and a social movement in like a 2-year time period.
I get why people have said you're obsessed with Joseph Smith and you want to be your own Joseph Smith. So
It's not Joseph Smith. My competitor is Jesus.
His competitor is Jesus, Andre.
This is amazing.
I know.
This is amazing because economic system, nation, shareholder, this is, I'm sorry to say, fucking vulgar capitalism, which is from an idiot.
But Andre, it sounds so simple. You give him your life savings, and he creates a whole new empire for you to live in, where you live for 1,000 years.
Bernard Madoff screwed so many people on Wall Street 20 years ago, $50 billion, and now you have more sophisticated robbers or thieves. Bernard Madoff was supposed to be a great philanthropist. Everybody loved him, and suddenly they realized that he was just a petty thief. And I wrote about Madoff. I was talking about cryptocurrency. The fuck, you lost your code for let's say Bitcoin. And you cannot retrieve your $25 billion because you don't have the key. And you say, shit, I gave the code to Madoff and Madoff is dead. Maybe I will go at night, I will dig his grave, and maybe he will have written the code on a piece of paper. Those people are lunatics because when they talk, you can notice all the contradiction. Nation. Okay, there will be no nation in a global village. Currency, stock market. There will be no stock market in communism. That does not exist. He's in competition with Jesus. Yes, he admits he's a religion. So what you have? Do you have moral code in your religion? No. It's basic capitalism, which means me, myself, and I, and the sky is the limit. That's typical American way of life, the self-made man. Those people are very rich and very stupid. This is, for me, this is not the elite. This is the same thing. They are the exact image of the mass. They are stupid, and that's why the mass are attracted, because they look like them.
Yeah.
Where I agree when you show this character, this man is evil.
Andre, I have one more thing to show you about him, because this is my belief also. Look at the color of his skin. He's very pasty, very dark, like the Grim Reaper. And you got to wonder how evil people, as they age, what happens to them. Okay, this is him on this island. A short little video of him. I edited my DNA on a secret island to live forever. And if you listen very closely, he says how the Honduran government want these fucking people out of here. But guess what? Nope, we've created a special economic zone. It's written in your own constitution, Honduras, that we can do this. Fuck off. And there's nothing they can do about it. It's becoming this big thing. The technocrats are taking power in the world.
I'm traveling to a remote island for an extreme medical procedure that could change the future of humanity. Humans have a 120-year ceiling, and so far, no one can punch through it. Gene therapy might be the answer. This is a journey in search of the fountain of youth. This is me as a kid. This is a kid who was born with one of the effects of the gene therapy I'm about to do. In mice, when they received this gene therapy, they lived 30% longer.
Look at this.
Let me back up and tell you how we got here.
Childish.
In the shadow of the Caribbean lies Roatan, a hidden gem off the Honduran coast, shrouded in mystery. Beyond its breathtaking beaches and coral reefs, Roatan hides a secret venture, Prospera, an experimental zone for governance.
All this that you see is Prospera.
Prospera defies convention, crafting its own laws in a game of high geopolitical stakes against the Honduran government's backlash.
Backlash. There you go. There's the activist part. The government doesn't want them experimenting on humans, probably, in their stupid factories.
Of course. Right? Of course.
And are they paying taxes to the government? Probably not. There's probably billions, trillions of dollars flowing into this island. All these upstarts are there in their own zone without regulation. And the Honduran government is like, can we get a piece of that money, please? No. It's our money. Fuck off. That's how evil is. It's like, God damn it, no. You do what we say. This is the Tolkien power in that story. Mordor, Sauron, you try and have a negotiation with the guy wearing the master ring. Go ahead, try. Not going to happen.
It is interesting. When I had Michael Jones on my podcast this week, we were talking about Canada because I asked him a lot of questions about what is happening here, what is his opinion, and he didn't know. He didn't know a lot about Canada, and frankly, I think he didn't care. Americans, they don't care about Canada.
Americans don't care about Canada.
And he said, Americans, they know where to put Canada on the map, but that's about it. And he was saying, he's saying Canada has two operating systems, Catholic and Protestant. And he said they don't work together. It's like Mac and PC. They don't work together.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I was shocked when he said that. He said, conservatism and Protestantism will disappear. And you will have a fight between the Jews and the Catholic. He said, forget about Islam. So why I say this, it's because when we see this world, this dystopian world of evil, how do we fight this? how do we fight those people who think? First of all, you look at the man. I would be a woman. I would never date a man like this. He looks like a monster.
Yeah.
He looks like a monster, and he
Right.
looks. They psychopath. There are a lot of psychopath, ever a sociopath. Those people, they have no empathy. He shows the small boy, and he shows the other small boy, which looks like Schwarzenegger at 4 years old.
Yeah.
Why do you? It's this culture of you go to the gym. Me, I say more muscle, less brain. This man is just a sick man,
Yeah.
but he has a lot of sick people who follows him, and just the fact that he said my competitor is Jesus, it
Yeah.
shows that it is a religion. Jesus was not in competition with nobody.
Hmm.
He was not in competition with nobody. That's
There's
a very big difference.
You might hear a loon in the background at the perfect moment. A loon just made a. I'm on a lake here anyway. If anybody hears a loon, that's what that is. Right when you said Jesus has no master. Did you hear it that time?
Yes.
Anyway, it's fine. Okay, you're a Christian out there. You got a Christian loon here. Yeah.
What do you think about a man like this compared to what would be the philosophy of Buddhism? Somebody who has no ego, this man is the total opposite of he's the total opposite of Buddhism. Yet you said he's a guru.
Yeah, and if you should check him out on
in a pejorative sense.
Yeah, I don't have any social media at all right now. I'm starting a new podcast very soon called Riff Raft. I wanted to mention that. That's why it says that at the bottom, but that's in September. Maybe we'll mention that later. But sorry. I'm writing down some things and I got sidetracked. What was that question? Sorry.
Well, the question was, what do you think of a man like this who says that he's a guru and he's in competition with Jesus?
Yeah, this is the opposite of having no ego and being a good boy or whatever. This is egohood. Egohood. The full representation, the full manifestation of what an ego actually is. And this is John Baudrillard again, of the full manifestation of nihilism. A new nihilism that has never been seen in the world before. Baudrillardian nihilism is its own thing. It is the full realization of it. It's not just a little theory for Nietzsche to play around with.
No, exactly.
It's fucking here. Right?
You were mentioning, you showed earlier the book of Baudrillard, the
System of Objects.
He's an object of his own madness.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And
incredible. But he's not, at another level, the mass or most people, they are attracted by this.
Yeah. Oh, and the reason I mentioned social media was because on Twitter, I used to follow him, and you're on there. Brian with a Y, Johnson. Check him out. He's got a fan club. So many tweets, and he's tweeting every 5 minutes. He's a complete narcissist, crazy, drunk with power type person. Full narcissist of the worst kind. I looked at him a lot. I'm going to do a whole podcast about him. It's crazy. And what is he selling exactly? You can live forever. I'm doing it. Here's the product. And you can shop on his website for these items. Bags of powder.
Well, the charlatans in the 18th century, it's the same thing. I'm sorry, he will attract a lot of people. This is human nature.
He throws it in the face because he sells olive oil. He says, I take 1 shot of olive oil every day or with every meal, and I make my own olive oil. And the label of this olive oil, it says snake oil. This is black magic. You see? They're so empowered that they feel that they're fully realized, like the Buddha, fully realized being. They think this about themselves. They are fully in power. So and they know what's happening and they know where we're going. And that's it.
Okay.
That's a demigod. That's a demigod.
Yes, but not, I would say, not in
attitude, not in a real way.
Exactly.
Attitude. Yeah.
Exactly. You're right. We have some other example in geopolitics like Trump or if you show the next slide, I have another question.
Next slide.
Okay, the internet of disposable thing. Everybody knows. I think you know Yuval Noah Harari,
Yeah.
this pseudo-intellectual from Tel Aviv. Harari said that, and I quote, he said, the human brain are hackable and there's no soul. So first of all, okay, end quote. This man that you just showed us, he's a guru. He said, okay, mankind, the future of mankind, future of humanity.
Yeah.
Which humanity are we talking about? Because if he's talking about his humanity, there's another humanity which is disposable things. We are disposable, useless mouth, and they don't need us. So when he's talking to humanity, he takes the posture of Jesus. Jesus was saying, okay, you're all my children. There's no exception. Even the evil one, they are all my children. And he's saying, future of humanity, but it's my humanity compared to the useless mouth. We are a useless mouth. Are we stuck in this with those people? Do they have enough power to enslave us?
Yes, because they know how to operate all of this stuff we've looked at, the psychology. They know how to push the buttons. I think I got to let my dog inside. Could I leave it with you for 30 seconds? I just got to go right there, open that door. That poor dog, she's out there whining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be
No
right back.
problem. Okay. No problem.
Let me just throw this up on the screen here. Share screen. She's all right. She's just here. When I do a podcast, sometimes she wants to come lay on the floor.
Yes, of course. I understand.
And it's getting hot out right now. The heat is coming, Andre. It's going to be another hot day, man. And we have big fires here right outside Halifax, the capital city. So when I think about Noah Harari, I think about this photo right here, holding up a fucking crucifix against him. I'll be right back.
Yes, okay. And I think David is right. When we talk about the figure of Jesus, there's a lot of people who wants to be in competition with the Christ. I think it's not even Catholicism or Christianity. It's also Islam. There's always a sense of trying to overcome fate, but fate is a way of being. It's not something you achieve. It's something that is inside of you. So I see this as it looks for me very Manichaean way of approaching faith or religion whatsoever. When we refer to a Harari, he will affirm, he will say that there's no soul. And okay, bring the proof. You want to be a scientist, man? Bring the proof.
Yeah.
Bring me the proof. Bring me the process. Bring me your and ask your colleague to challenge your theory. What I was talking about, falsificationism, in the book of Chalmers. Bring your colleague and ask them to challenge your statement. And Harari has no colleague. Did you ever hear somebody quoting the book of Harari in the academic world or in university or with serious philosopher? No, because they don't read this shit. Like they were never reading the Fourth Industrial Revolution of Klaus Schwab's. Nobody reads them. Oh, I sold 20 million copy. Of course, on Amazon, I can buy an algorithm and show that I sold. Oh, Barack Obama bought my book, and wow, this is not an argument. It's not a popularity contest. So Harari has no credibility whatsoever as an intellectual. What do you think, David, about
I see
the Internet of Things or the dark evil?
Well, Harari is like this photo on the screen. He's worm tongue, talks whispering magic into the king's ear about what's going to be happening around there, putting him to sleep. This represents so much that this is the death of human government. It's finished. This is a new world now. We are slaves. The vaccine mandate proved it. We all
Yes.
got on our fucking knees for it. Few of us stood, but it's fine. We are still heroes. Those of us who resisted this fucking evil. The mark of the beast. Let's get honest here. There's weird shit going on in the world. So there's a lot with the Tolkien, I guess. I wanted to bring Tolkien along today to help us because we need help. We need help. And I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know where it's going to come from.
Well, I think, well, first of all, through this conversation, we try to be honest people, and we don't try to hide. We don't try to hide what we know, but we don't try to hide our ignorance, though, what we don't know. And there's a lot of people, I refer to Harari, and they always, make statements, or this man that you show that he will defy longevity, and they make statements without any fact and without any contradictor. There's never nobody who goes and ask them hard question, because it is a sect, it is a cult. It is not a way to act scientifically. We still have a little bit, maybe 3 slides. I would like to ask you a question. If you bring the next slide.
Okay.
We've passed the mark of 2 hours.
Well, I knew it was going to be a
Dharma.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yes, go ahead. The death of Dharma. What is Dharma, and how do we realize that it is dead?
Well, that's just straight the eschatology we looked at to begin with, that it is predicted that the teachings of Buddhism would decline and basically be useless. They might still be around, but it would just become very institutionalized religion, basically.
Okay.
It wouldn't penetrate. So that's just the basic eschatological concept there behind this. The death of, and Dharma is a Sanskrit word that just means teachings. The death of teachings. And I could see this. I could stretch this out to say the whole world could be going through a period of where the death of general good teachers and good teachings. Look at the competency crisis in this country. Try to get a fucking house built that's going to stay standing right now. Good luck.
But you said something very important, the death of teaching. I was thinking about the academic world.
Yeah.
Universities have become institution of indoctrination.
Yep.
And it is because what is I was talking with Tim Knight and Payment on the podcast about the guild of the Middle Age, the master and the apprentice, how they were transferring the knowledge. And today with academy, the academic world, you have a lot of PhDs that cannot even have a job at Tim Horton. Because Tim Horton are not hiring them because they are subsidized from the government to pay 60% of the salary to immigrant. But also they will say, well, you're over-educated, Mister. I cannot hire a PhD to prepare coffee because you will most probably form a union with all the worker because you're too intelligent. So there's a lot of people who get out of college and university, especially university, after 5, 6, 10 years. They are in debt of $100,000 because it's and $100,000. I'm conservative. I think maybe it's more than that. Harvard or some great university, Berkeley, and they get out and they have no job. And Tim Knight said something very important. He said, "We have a solution for you: conscription, mobilization, a world where you will sacrifice young generation."
Yes, that's the thing. You've hit on it. And the word activists comes to mind. Universities are training at political activists only.
Exactly. That's. But activists, they are revolutionaries. They fomented permanent revolution, so you will never be in peace. And it will be always a zone of conflict. We see it everywhere in great city, in big cities in Canada, in Montreal, in Toronto, in BC, less in Alberta, because in Alberta it's a more what we call conservative world. But it's quite fascinating to see this, and I'm thinking about what will be next. And if you bring the next slide.
Yeah, we'll move forward.
Which is
Noah,
we're-
Noah Harari said that we just got to keep people on drugs playing video games long enough to get what we want. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. Anyway,
So that's why I was referring to the Shoah 2.0. I think I will infuriate a lot of people, but the Shoah is the Hebrew word for the Holocaust. 6 million Jews and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because we always use the idea of a 2.0, the version 2.0, the Shoah 2.0, look at what is happening in Gaza. They are slaughtering hundreds of thousands of people. And Netanyahu is acting like acting like the bureau, the man who's the executioner. When I say this, it's because I think the next step will be technocratic totalitarianism. And we are not far from this because we see it in Nova Scotia with the authoritarian behavior of the government. We don't have any options now. And sadly, I was thinking, through this episode, that we would be able to inspire ourselves with Buddhism. It seems that it will not work.
Well, the Buddhism is let me just show you this book here. I brought it along just in case this comes up, just to show you something. The Path of Individual Liberation. It says that on this book. It's a big book. I like it. Chogyam Trungpa wrote it. The alcoholic who had sex with his students. You know what? Bad people can give good advice. You
mentioned it last week, yes.
Bad people can give good advice. And, Heidegger was a Nazi. He was a fascist.
Yes, yeah. He always denied it, but it came up to light, I think, in the 60s and 70s, yes.
But he gave good wisdom. So, and the Buddhist thing is, you have to become a refugee of samsara. Samsara is you're just floating around in this ocean. You're flotsam, jetsam floating around, just fucked up and confused. You sort of have to give up give up hope in some sense, become a refugee from samsara, and become individually liberated. Look inside yourself.
Inside, yes. It's an individual process.
Yes. So in this way, Buddhism could inspire only one person at a time. They have to think about it and do it themselves, or figure something else out. I don't know. Maybe there's a heaven. Maybe get on your knees for Jesus and then pray, beg, and ask for help. Maybe it will come. I don't know. Is there a God, Andre? I don't know. I really don't. I'm not saying yes, and I cannot say no. How could I? It's impossible. I can't say no or yes.
This is a rational position.
I hope so.
In my opinion, this is a rational position because you act like a real scientist, somebody who's researching, did not find any evidence against or for, and you continue your individual quest, which is quite noble, because today it would be more comfortable to just sit down and relax. I'm a writer, but I'm also a retired man. I have a small garden. My wife cooks well. I cook well. I have a good pension. It's not big, but it's enough. And I cherish life. I could say, okay, I will just stay away from this and live maybe 10, 15 years more in peace. I see that world is not in peace. So I cannot stay idle or hide behind the position of a retired man. Just like you continue your quest, and maybe that will bring us to first of all, I want to thank you because we met. That's good. We met and we have discussion, and when we prepared this series, I remember you said maybe we should do something about Buddhism, and I said okay. And when I wrote you, I said, why we don't do 3 parts? I said, oh, that's good. And it's been 3 weeks now, but it's practically a month and a half that we prepared this together, discussing, not sure where we would go, what we would talk about. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a specialist. The idea was to be able to show the beginning, the Buddhist in the West, and what would be the future of mankind. The last slide that I put there was maybe transhumanist charlatans. I think you showed one.
Yeah, I did.
They are very they have a lot of charisma, but for weak minds.
I don't see any charisma with Sam Altman, with Elon Musk, with the guy who runs Palantir. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, the Palantir.
Yes.
The magic stone that sees everything. I mean, these people are just goofing around with us. They're playing games. They think it's funny, actually, to name their companies things like this,
This is quite interesting what you're saying. They think it's funny. They laugh.
They do. Yes.
They laugh or they smile and blah, blah, blah. While, for example, while we are a slaughter in Gaza, a Holocaust in Ukraine, 1.4 million killed in 3 years and a half. And they keep on going. Like life is okay. We can say, you and me, we discuss, we smile, sometimes we laugh, but we always keep in mind what is happening, this permanent suffering.
Yeah, we're trying to help each other out a little, if you can.
A little bit. And I think that's the best part. Maybe that's what you were talking about, Buddhism being kind, or magnanimity. It's far for me to pronounce this word, but
I know I can't. Magnanimity.
Yes, but the idea, the king usually is kind with his subject. He's supposed to be kind. He's supposed to protect them, but he's supposed to be kind. It is not like the prime minister or the president of a country. At least the monarchy at the time had the duty to protect. That has been lost. How we will face this reality?
I also wonder if it's just a hyper real reality that we're in. Too much images, too much media overlapping, like a quilt overlapping.
Yes.
Bandages on bandages, or images on images of this wound of this being alive is painful, and we're just stacking on, and so much social media, and so much fear and climate anxiety, and it's like, how can we just stop all that just for a second and just be, right? Just be, and be a being in time. Be a being for a minute, and just feel okay, and feel okay in your own skin. It's fine. Everything's fine. That's a great feeling to have once in a while in life, if possible, isn't it?
But this is why, we can work hard, but we need to rest. We need to rest our mind, our soul. We need to rest and be able to meditate and enjoy just feeling this life.
Yeah, and you can meditate with God. Christians have a meditation, of course, right? Feeling God's.
The prayers are a form of meditation.
Like if a Christian is sitting out in nature, alone by a pond, and it's just so beautiful, they must think, "Wow, God is great."
God is great. Yes, exactly. We arrive at 2 hours and 18 minutes already.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a long one.
My dear David, what will be your next project?
I'm starting a new podcast with my friend Limina. And
Limina Barnes.
Yeah. So Riff Raft is going to be the name. It's going to start in September. My Freedom Conversation podcast today with you is pretty much the last thing I'm going to do. But for the next month or so, maybe have another conversation about something with somebody. But other than that, new show with someone else with me to help me. There's someone commenting there saying things. Let's check out one of these comments before we go here.
Yes, go ahead.
The West is the only culture that suffers from death phobia. There you go. Yes. No other culture goes to such lengths to stay alive under palliative care. Whoa. Yes. I hear about this all the time. I'm actually going to school. I'm trying to get into school to be a healthcare worker, and my wife is in there. So I hear this shit all the time. What's going on with people? They're sick. They're fucked up. And very, very people get very angry when they're sick. They demand lots of things. And some people fall
Yeah.
from a high place. The rich people, fancy people around here, they just get sick and someone has to wipe their ass and change their diapers. And they get very psychologically distressed. They lash out. Caring for people in such a society as this is a real challenge. People are fucking crazy. They cannot suffer. They don't know how. They're taught
Yeah.
that you shouldn't. You should live forever and not feel 1 ounce of discomfort. No discomfort. This is a scam. The society is a whole scam.
Is it a question of generation?
I don't know. Technology is really infesting our culture.
Yes.
And our psychology and the way people interact with each other.
Yes, you're right.
A firm handshake and a eye contact. It's becoming a thing of the past. Maybe it changes.
Well,
I
I was saying something to Tim Knight and Payment is Scary, and I will tell it to you also. I said to them, if I go to BC, it's not to see the Rocky Mountain. Of course, they will be nice, but it's to go and see Tim Knight and Payment is Scary. So if I go to Nova Scotia,
right, that's your show. Let's talk about your show too.
It's not to visit Nova Scotia. I'm pretty sure it's beautiful, but it will be to see David.
Okay, there you go.
In person, because this human contact, we know each other since 6-7 months now, or maybe more. And me, in my head, it's like, wait, I want to see your garden. Can I see your basil? Can I see how you do it? And yeah, that's the human contact. Transhumanism will never be able to reproduce.
No. I was showing you this bag of herbs that I made. This is a collection of various herbs that I grew on my own property, and I mixed them all together, and I put that on everything. It's like herbs de Provence.
Herbs de Provence. Exactly.
So there you go. Find me a fucking computer that can manage to grow shit in soil.
So what about the title, Riff Raft? It is what?
Right, yeah. Our contention is that the government is a sinking ship. The health industry, the mental health industry, all industries, education. We're in a sinking ship world, and we need to abandon ship and create our own life raft. Get some chickens. Stop being so engaged with society. It's a sick world.
Yes.
Why do we want to be a part of it? Close the laptop. Go outside. If you have some property, do something with it. I don't know. Learn some new skills. Grow up also, and step away from the machine world. So a little bit of build your own life raft, whatever that means to you. So we're going to look at different things, health and well-being, agriculture. She's a homesteader like me, and she's a recovering social worker. So she knows more about inside of the social
From the inside of the system,
from the inside, yeah. So we'll be a good pair, I think. So that's what's coming up there. That podcast will be beginning soon, I think. But you have Cerberus at the Improv. There's 3 of you. You've been on my show, all 3 of you. Tell my audience about your show, please, a little bit.
Well, we continue the show every Saturday, 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30 Eastern time, and 5:30 Atlantic time. It's a show about politics. We are trying to talk about Canadian politics, which is very boring. But anyway, we don't have the choice. Sometimes we try to go on a more philosophical aspect, historical aspect, so we can analyze events, but just not repeat what everybody says, and just give it our opinion. People are saturated. You mentioned it earlier. People are saturated, and I would advise people. First of all, I always advise people disconnect from mainstream media. Totally. You don't even comment. You don't even look at them. The worst vengeance that you can have toward, let's say, an ex-girlfriend who dumped you, is to show with another girlfriend that is more beautiful than her, and pretend that she does not exist. Ignoring somebody is the best revenge. So mainstream media, I always say to people, why you watch them? You get angry because you watch those news, and then you react, and after that you poison your life. I see this. You were mentioning this. I think it was last week about you had a family dinner and everybody was having their smartphone. You are outside in your garden with a good glass of wine. You have a good company, and they're all watching their phones. You don't watch outside. You don't watch how it is beautiful. The moon is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so I advise people to disconnect and to clean their brain so they can feel this life. And it is not sometimes it is through reading. I'm a writer, but a writer is first a reader. So I'm finishing another book, The Dangers of Beauty of Michael Jones, and Michael Jones is coming at the end of the month, and I said to him, bring me 4 books I need to read. So I would say read Mark Twain, read Steinbeck, read great writers. You don't have to read Andre Meloche, it is not relevant, but read great writers, because they are there. The past is there. It's supposed to help us understand the present and prepare the future. So, and I think you and me, we will continue to collaborate with each other, because
I'm already thinking about something with you: faith and logic.
Faith. Oh, this will be very interesting.
Yeah, we were only able to touch on it because it's its own world of discussion. It's fucking deep.
It's very complicated. I'm not a philosopher. I'm more of a writer. But yes, I think we are fond of philosophy.
We're amateurs.
And yes,
and here's another thing: the expert class, they're finished. We don't need them anymore. We can learn it ourselves.
Yes.
What we need to know, we can learn it. And then our podcast is going to be a little bit about that too. Do it yourself. God damn it! You're going to rely on the government right now? No.
Yes. Get up and do the job. Yes. There's something rewarding about doing something.
To wipe your sweat. It sucks to be out there sweating. It does. But when you wipe that sweat, you think, I'm embracing this sweat now.
Yes.
And I feel more empowered than ever. Let's fucking get back at it. Right.
This week, my wife and I, we always do home ketchup. So we did 8 pots of 500 milliliter. We will do again with 6 kilograms of tomato. And this is hard work. But I don't buy ketchup since 20 years. Yeah. Nothing. And when I take it out, it is like, I know it's the vegetable I grew. And you say, okay, people in January, they're jealous because they look at how we cook. And I say, my wife, she's Russian. She does borscht. Borscht, it is a soup with beets. So what do? We take a lot of beets in August and we can them. And when she does a borscht, she will cook chicken. Instead of taking 1 hour and 20 minutes, it takes 15-20 minutes because it's already prepared. So cooking, growing vegetable, like you mentioned, and doing it yourself.
Can I end on a very, very short story?
Yes, of course.
Share screen. I'm going to put up this one more time. Sam. Let's talk about Sam. The actor, Sean Astin, is the guy who played Sam. And he tells this story on YouTube. He's at a comic geek festival that I call them. He's up on the stage and all the comic book nerds are loving it. And I was loving it when I watched it. He said that my agent called me and said that Peter Jackson's making Lord of the Rings and he wants you to be Sam. And he said, well, I don't know this story. Tolkien, yeah, I've heard of him, whatever. And here's the thing. This guy has an actual PhD in American literature. Very smart guy. But he never read Tolkien. So if the crowd thought that was kind of funny, of course. But this is English literature, right? And it's fantasy as well. Some people don't take it seriously. But I think people should. So he says, okay, so I drove to Barnes & Noble's and I got the book, Lord of the Rings. I asked the guy, show me Lord of the Rings. And he took me to this whole area of this store, of this Tolkien stuff. He's like, okay. And he said he started flipping through the first chapter immediately at lightning speed because he's a professional actor. Bam, 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 bam. And he says, Gardner. And he stopped right there. He said, every famous story, the hero, he's not a hero. He's a fucking gardener. And he goes on an adventure. And he becomes a hero. Then he becomes a gardener again at the end. So do you ever actually need to leave the garden?
No.
Because home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is.
Yes. No and yes.
Yes.
Because Odysseus has to leave to go on his quest so he can come back home
To appreciate it.
to appreciate it. So you have to lose yourself in a way, and that's why I would say young generation. This is a tragedy, forbidding young generation to travel. And when you're 18 years old, you go with a pack-sack and you lose yourself.
Yes.
It's not the time when you're a boomer to start traveling. You should have done that before. I don't criticize boomers who will travel, because most of them work 40, 45 years of their age, and they never were able to travel. But you lose yourself when you're young.
Yeah.
And then after that, you settle, you're strong, wise, and you can help future generation. And you're right. You're right. The gardener is also.
And this
it's
comes into
life.
faith. This comes into faith here. You have to trust the universe. If you go on an adventure, I've hitchhiked across Canada when I was 18 years old, from Halifax to Calgary, Alberta, by myself.
Wow.
No, I went all the way to Fort McMurray by myself. That's a long
incredible.
go. No money in my pocket, Andre. People were giving me money because I would just tell them, "Oh, I'm just, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm unhappy and I'm just traveling. I don't know what I'm doing." I was reading Jack Kerouac. Right. Hitchhiking.
I know why we met.
Hitchhiking and meditating and stuff, and not knowing where you're going. And they're like, "Wow, it's interesting." And I'd be like, "Well, I haven't eaten in a couple of days." But when you're young, it's fine. And people would give me shit. So if you have faith, you're provided for. I think.
Well, this is maybe a great conclusion.
Yes, for next time. We're going to have this again. I'm already planning something with you in the future.
That's extraordinary. I would like to thank all the people who watched us, that they like this 3-part series. It's not professional, but I think we put our heart in it, and I hope that people will enjoy it and share it. So for the philosophy of information. So David, have a good weekend.
Yep, I'll let you go.
And I can go out. I will not say nude under the moon, so I can have the rain dance. So we can have rain.
Oh, but man, we need rain. Please, somebody make it rain. Yeah, we need rain.
Yes, exactly. So thanks a lot.
Great.
I will let you end the live. You're the master today.
Okay.
So
adios, everybody.
Have a nice weekend.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.